If you're watching this video, you're probably stuck in the exact same position that I was, struggling to gain weight and having no clue how to do it. Now for me, it all started sophomore year of high school. I was 140 pounds, dead skinny. I had the lowest confidence ever. I hated how I looked in my clothes. They fit horribly and baggy. And overall, I just hated how my body looked in general. Now, all throughout the year, I wanted to gain weight. I would even track my weight every single week, hoping to see it go up. I was taking no steps towards it, but I was still just hoping. I had to wake up so early every day for swim practice, so I was either too tired or just not hungry, and then I would eat whatever the school had for lunch. Sometimes I wouldn't even finish it, and then I would just eat whatever my mom made for dinner. No snacks, no dessert, but I was still hoping to gain weight. Now this was one of the most degrading feelings ever. I wanted to get somewhere, but I was taking no steps to get there, had no idea what steps to take to get there, and was getting just nowhere. Now at the time, there were so many things that I thought were holding me back. First was my schedule. I would wake up every morning at 4:30, skip breakfast, go to swim practice from 5:30 to 7, and then from 7:30 to 2, I would have school. And then right after school, I would work for like 4 to 5 hours, and that would be 5 days a week. So my only free time was weekends. But by the time the weekend came, I was always way too exhausted to actually do anything. I would spend my weekends either hanging out with friends, scrolling on TikTok, playing video games, or just watching TV. Now, something that really held me back was my morning routine. Every night I would go to bed after scrolling through TikToks for hours and then just fall asleep on my phone. And then the next day I'd wake up, see my phone next to me, and then go right back to scrolling, getting as much dopamine as possible from the second I wake up. And then after a while of doing that, I would roll out of bed all tired and exhausted, and then I'd go over to the bathroom, brush my teeth, put some deodorant on, and call it a good morning. And that would be my morning every single day. Now another thing that really held me back was my family's diet. They ate horribly. The same thing every day for dinner, either a sandwich or spaghetti. They all skipped breakfast, barely ate anything for lunch, and just filled their meal gaps with treats like cosmic brownies, nutty buddies, candy, ice cream, anything. And being surrounded by all of those foods just made it so hard for me to diet. Now, another thing that was really holding me back was my own mindset. Yeah, I knew I had to make a change, and yeah, I really wanted to make a change, but I didn't feel like doing all the research, going through all the countless fails, going through all the trial and error, and going through all of that time, which was one major factor holding me back from achieving my own personal goals. And then the last thing that I really thought was holding me back was my friends. They had nowhere near the same goals as me. They didn't want to go to the gym. They didn't care about eating healthy. I mean, to be fair, we were all just like 16 and in high school and new to everything. But one day I was just tired of it. I knew I had to make a change. I wasn't progressing anywhere and I wasn't getting near where I wanted to be. So I finally found a friend to go to the gym with, and we started going to the gym together 2 to 3 times a week. And that would always be weekends. And at that point I was so tired, so sometimes I would even skip. Now, even though we were going to the gym, we would skip legs every single leg day. And then on chest days, we would hit literally every single chest machine they have in the gym. We would do flat bench, incline bench, dumbbells, flies, machine press, cable flies. We would do literally everything and like 5 sets of it. We were getting way too much junk volume and wasting hours in the gym. And my diet was still horrible. I was barely eating, getting no protein in whatsoever. And I had absolutely no idea how much I was eating. And then even after those long and exhausting days, I would have to wake up at 4:30 to go to swim practice 5 days a week. So I would get like max 5, maybe 6 hours of sleep. But I had no clue how important sleep really was for me at the time. I also knew a couple friends taking some supplements, but I didn't think I actually needed to take anything. I didn't really think it mattered. I had no clue what to take, no clue when to take what. I just didn't know anything. But then 6 months went by of this. I made zero progress. I slightly toned my body, maybe gained a very small amount of muscle, but I looked almost no different. And at this time, I would have friends and family that would laugh at me and ask me why I'm even doing this. They noticed that I'm making zero progress. They noticed that I'm putting in some of this effort, but getting absolutely nowhere. So they would just constantly question why I'm even doing it. And that really was one of the worst feelings. I thought I was putting so much effort into something and doing everything I could, when in reality I was getting nowhere and not doing anything right. So that day I finally woke up and decided I needed to make a change. I did so much research. I built a structured workout. I started doing push-pull legs rest day and doing that on repeat every single week. I started implementing progressive overload into all of my workouts. So I would stick to about the same workouts and workout routines. I would just increase the weight every single time and make sure my intensity stayed very high. I finally dialed in on my nutrition. Now, this part took the most research. People really don't realize how much truly goes into nutrition. The different types of carbs, proteins, and fats, which ones you should eat, why you should eat which ones, and what they all do for your body. I found out what to eat and how much to eat of everything. I bought a scale and started going to the grocery store with my mom. I would get chicken breasts, steak, beef, potatoes, rice, oats, Greek yogurt, eggs, everything. Then I started researching tons of cooking videos, tons of recipes, all high protein recipes, learned how to make all of them, and even added some of my own stuff to each of them. And then the ones that I like the best, I just put on repeat day after day, week after week for a very long time. I would also make sure I was getting at least 1 gram of protein in per pound of body weight every single day. And then I finally got my sleep dialed. I was sleeping at least 7 hours a day every single solitary day. And finally did research on supplements and what to take. So I started taking 5 grams of creatine every single day, 1 scoop of whey protein, and 1,000 IUs of vitamin D. Now quickly, I made an insane amount of progress. This made me finally like my own body, finally had clothes fit me the way it should fit, and my confidence was through the roof. I started carrying myself to the person I actually was. And now weight gain is so easy for me. I can literally control how much weight I gain every single week. And dieting became so easy. I still have the exact same diet and I still track my calories. And people think tracking calories is one of the hardest things, one of the most time-consuming things, but I literally spend at max 5 minutes a day tracking my calories, if that even. Now, one of my favorite parts was the strength I was gaining. Every single week, I would come back and do the same exercise, but add like 10 pounds to it. It literally felt like I was on steroids. One thing I also did was implement a very good morning routine. Every single morning, I wake up very early, and then the second I get up, I make my bed and then go right into reading the Bible. And then after that, I do my morning stretch and then go to the bathroom where I brush my teeth, put deodorant on, put contacts in, and do all that. And one thing no one talks about is all the compliments you get. People start asking you how you did it. People start asking for your routine, asking for tips, asking you to help them personally. Everyone just starts to wonder. Now, to be honest, one of the best things is after achieving the physique that I wanted and wanted to work for so long, everything else came into place. I ended up meeting the girl that I am still with 4 years later, who pushes me to better myself every single day, who pushes me to do what I'm supposed to do and be the person that I am supposed to be. And I even maxed out my life spiritually. I connected to the Lord and read the Bible every single day. And now to fast forward to today, I am 40 pounds heavier, all muscle. I am now sitting at 180 pounds lean. And on top of that, I train, recover, and diet efficiently. I am a man of God, and I have a loving girlfriend supporting me along the way. Now, even after all of this time, all of those things holding me back never just magically went away. I still have to deal with them every single day. My schedule is actually even busier than it was before. My family still has a horrible diet, even though I constantly try to still help them. And I still have friends that don't at all have the same goals as me. It never just gets easier, you just learn how to work your way around things. And one thing it took me forever to realize is that all of it is just a huge mental game. It's all how you take it mentally and how you deal with it mentally. And then once I finally made this transformation, I realized I can help others do the exact same thing. I know if I could go back to when I was first struggling and I was told everything that I personally know today, I would have a Greek god physique by now. I would have made an insane amount of progress in 10 times faster than I actually did. I wouldn't have to do any of the long research I did, any of the long hours trying to figure out how to do it and what to do. It would be so much easier. And even better, it's so fulfilling, changing people's lives and helping them reach the body that they actually deserve. Now, I provide all of my clients with training plans and meal plans optimized to their personal goals. This makes it literally impossible for them to fail. Nobody should have a body that they don't at all like being in. Everyone should have the chance to live in the body that they deserve, because that really is holding you back physically and holding you back mentally. Now, I actually love getting to know my clients and watching their success skyrocket. Now, if you're interested in working with me, there's a link to book a free consultation call in my bio. Or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget that your dream physique is so much closer than you think. All you have to do is keep pushing.